Today, we take a few minutes just to relax. And we do that by reading passages from a little book that not only takes us on a motorcycle ride down the road, but it also reminds us of why we love to ride in the first place. Originally published in 2013 and edited by Malcolm Nelson and Kristen Lassen, it's called The Little Black Book of Motorcycle Wisdom. I'll have a link to it in the show notes. I love this little book. It's small and easy to pack. I carry it with me on my business trips on the plane and so forth, and it reminds me that there's a world waiting for me beyond these crowds, and there's something ahead that I can really look forward to, and that is getting on my bike and heading down the road once again. This book takes me home. Each section of this little book is packed full of brief insights, and it's full of words about our shared passion for motorcycling. Quotes from the famous and the not so famous. Marlon Brando, Steve McQueen, Ewan McGregor, Bob Dylan, travel writers like Ted Simon, and philosophical book writers like Robert Pirsig. Today, we relax to the music that sends our mood to a less complex world. We step back from the news, from social media, from our work, from the stressors in our lives, and we step into the pure joy of just riding our motorcycles. I need reflections like this, and I hope you'll enjoy them too. Thank you for joining me today. So let's begin with some just random quotes from the Little Black Book of Motorcycle Wisdom. As I ride away to the west, the noise of the engine seems to settle into a rhythmic thrum, and the wind ripples the grass in the fields along the road. The tops of the blades are waving to and fro, and it's easy to imagine the valves in the engine rising and falling with them, in sync with nature. Sometimes it takes a whole full tank of fuel before you can really think. One of the things that makes motorcycling so great is that it never fails to give you a feeling of freedom and adventure. Every time I start thinking the world is all bad, then I see people having a good time riding their motorcycles. It makes me take another look. I think the motorcycle is the best because it puts me in such a contact with everything. You experience much more closely the nature of the terrain, almost taste the cultures that you're riding through, because it exposes you to the climate, to the wind, to the rain. It exposes you to an experience, a complete experience. I take care of myself. I eat a healthy diet. I exercise every day. I ride safe, and I do all of this not because I'm afraid of dying. It's because I just want to live longer. I want to stay healthy longer so that I can ride my motorcycle. I'm in a position where I do many things most people just dream about. But I find doing something like taking a motorcycle trip puts me in a whole new life. It puts me into relief. You understand yourself better, and you're more available to the world. When I leave work on my motorbike, pull on my helmet, and move off, It doesn't matter if I've had a good day or not. An excellent match. Freedom and power. Horses and horsepower. Riding a horse at a full gallop is exhilarating, but a motorcycle will let you go anywhere you want. You're not closed in by a box. Everything around you is alive. The trees, the mountains, the sea. You're in tune. You're one with your surroundings and your machine, enjoying all five senses like you've never experienced in your life. I ride horses and the motorbike because it gives me a similar feeling of freedom. You're very much in touch with all of your senses, and it's dangerous, so you have to concentrate. It's turned into something just like a perfect day when you're going someplace on your motorcycle. A car goes by carrying a driver in a white suit and tie. He may be a salesman on the way to a call or an office worker returning from lunch. And he passes and he stares in your direction. I can practically see his mouth the words, "What a lucky guy." I'm pretty sure that this was the day I decided to jack it all in and head off on my motorcycle. Most of all, I wanted to be moving along, to always be going somewhere. It's as old as mankind, this urge to roam. But when I get it and succumb to it, for a fleeting moment, you feel like you've really invented it yourself. Driving a motorcycle is like flying. All of your senses are alive. When I ride through Beverly Hills early in the morning and the sprinklers have just turned off, the senses that wash over me are just heavenly. One of the great advantages of the motorcycle is its ability to bring its rider closer to the environment. The winds, the weather, roads surrounding nature. Riding a motorcycle is technology's equivalent to being a cowboy. Our modern horse has 2 wheels instead of 4 feet. Its reins are the handlebars. Its stirrups, the clutch, and the brake. Its rider sufficiently experienced with the laws of nature to skillfully control its excitable speed. When my mood gets too hot and I find myself wandering beyond control, I pull out my motorbike and hurl it at top speed through these unfit roads for an hour or so. My nerves are jaded and gone near dead, so that nothing less than an hour of involuntary danger will prick them back into life. A motorcycle can change the conduct and quality of our lives because it is indeed a machine that can harness a man's spirit. On a motorcycle, riding the road, hugging the wind, a man can discover the joy of solitude, the rebirth of independence, the satisfaction of self-respect. I graduated with a degree in theology and wanted to go to my spiritual home, Rome. That all changed in a briskly cool month of November 2002. I sat in a monastery refectory when a sudden rush came upon me to take my motorcycle for a ride. Not a little ride around the state of North Dakota, but a ride around the states. My spiritual journey would take place, to be sure, but in a very different manner. And my friends, if I may share with you this final very short quote from one of my favorite movies. It's the movie that introduced me to motorcycling. It was called On Any Sunday, a little documentary by Bruce Brown from 1972. And Bruce simply said this: a motorcycle is whatever you want it to be. Well, thanks again for joining me today. I hope you've enjoyed this reading of several passages from a book called The Little Black Book of Motorcycle Wisdom. It's by Malcolm Nelson and Kristen Lassen. In this podcast, it may be obvious that I don't have all the answers. There are many, many better motorcycle riders than I am. But if I've learned anything, it's that going for a ride, at least for me, makes me happy. Whether it's a perfect day in the 70s, or a hot day, or a cold day, or a wet day, I never seem to regret that I got my bike out of the garage and started it up and just went. I've also learned that hearing from other riders this past year, riding with my friends and meeting total strangers on the road, well, that's just great. I mean, what better life can you have? So, my friends, let's stay healthy, both physically and mentally. It takes both to ride. Don't stop. Keep going. Seek happiness. Be kind to others and be kind to yourself. And maybe most importantly, thank the stars above for another day to ride. Until we visit again, I wish you peace and I wish you love.